Sir, thanks for meeting with us today and talking. We wanted to speak with you, get some thoughts on a term that everybody's hearing. It's the return to full capacity. We know that LCMC is getting the job done today, that we're meeting our mission requirements. So what exactly does return to full capacity mean to you?
Yeah, so the neatest thing about full capacity is we get to define it. And most people think of full capacity like a factory or a line work where the only way you're at full capacity is if everybody who works on the line is back into work. That's not us. Okay? We've proven we have an ability to get the mission done with a lot of people on telework. Okay? Where we're taking inefficiencies are areas where we need customer service. People need to be in place. Where we have line operations where people do actually need to be in at work. And in places, I would say within the line category are secure vault operations where people need to come in and actually work. Those are probably the lion's share of it. So what we're at the process of doing right now is going out and reaching out and trying to quantify that. How many people really need to come back in who have either been coming in sporadically or partially or not at all to get back to that full capacity? That number is going to be a percentage of our total workforce, but it's not going to be 100%. So we'll have a number that's there. That's what we need to get to our full efficiency and effectiveness, and the rest will kind of remain on telework as long as we can, coming in occasionally.
I'm sure you're working with work center leaders on standards regarding cleaning, wearing masks when people can't maintain social distancing, and other workplace rules like that. How are those conversations going, and are organizations determining what needs to be done?
Well, I'll tell you that they are those conversations are excruciatingly tedious. When you've got the 4-star asking how you're going to clean the doorknob, you are down to the details. But we've been doing that. I mean, we are actually going down to look and say, how do you deal with that touch space? How do you deal? When we come into my office, you deal with a secure touchpad. What are you going to do about that? And there's a combination of things that have to happen. For those areas where we can, we're going to clean a lot, and that'll be part of setting up a cleaning plan. We'll augment regular janitorial services, and we will supply the offices so that they can also do cleaning themselves. Then we're going to continue to encourage you got to wash your hands, do everything you can to take care of yourselves. Beyond that, I think that, as I said, there'd be two parts. So one is the janitorial and common cleaning. The other is just encouraging people, you got to take care of yourself and continue to make sure that you're doing your own personal hygiene as well. We'll also augment some of the things with equipment. We'll work toward no-touch door opening. We'll work toward no-touch water fountains, all those kind of things. But that'll be a longer reach. But I think doing those common areas and the things that are high touch, high use, common use, getting those right is really important for our confidence that we're taking care of this well, and also just generally for taking care of the high contagion areas, if you will.
Sir, we've got some employees certainly who are in the high-risk groups, or maybe they have a family member at home who is in a high-risk population. Or there might be people who just feel really uncomfortable about coming back to the work center and being in a kind of a group setting. What can we do in those types of situations?
Yeah, so I put those into two groups. Okay, the people who have genuine, no kidding health concerns, and people who have anxiety or discomfort. Okay, so let's talk about the first group. And for those, we've been dealing with the ones who absolutely just can't get in and can't do their regular job through weather and safety leave, in accordance with DoD and Air Force policy. We will continue to follow that policy. Now that policy is going to change, and it'll be more focused at getting everybody back to work as we go. But we'll work within that policy as we move forward. Whenever we can, we'll support telework. But if we got to get them back in, we got to find a way to do that. Okay. Now we got to go to the anxiety side. People who aren't comfortable being at work. I think we deal with that through the previous discussion we had about how do we clean, how do we take care of this area, and how do we take care of working in proximity, and it really comes down to two things, wearing masks and doing the kind of things that we need to do for when we're close, and then two is really conspicuous cleaning. That's a term that the Sustainment Center came up with, these common areas, we've got to clean them and clean them regularly. People got to see that happening and see the supplies, see the hand sanitizer and the wipes and all of the things and masks available to make sure that we can take care of each other. I mean, there is no risk place. There just isn't. This is a highly contagious virus. We're going to have to deal with that. We're just trying to minimize the chances people get it, but you can get it walking home. So thanks.
Okay. Sir, early on, we discussed our migration to telework, and I think you gave our capacity at that time a C grade. Since then, the comm folks have rolled out a bevy of new tools, such as the JRSS VPN connection and CBR Teams, access to SharePoint through webmail. So do you think we've solved the problem of telework now?
Well, I'd like to take credit for what happened here. I'd like to think that giving a C really got them motivated, but I got to tell you, the comm guys stepped up. They got an A+ for effort here. I probably give our grade about an A- right now. We have with the tools we have today, really good capacity to get work done. If you can telework, the tools support it. I mean, they're absolutely fantastic. The thing that is the minus is CDR capabilities. CDR Teams in particular has been advertised as a temporary tool. And so to make Teams really, really capable, you invest some effort in building out information flow within it. And if that's not permanent, people are a little bit reticent to jump into it. But we had a discussion on that at the geo level this morning, and we're actually working to try and get a more permanent solution there. I think when that's fit, we'll be in the A zone, but we'll have to keep working at it to keep those capabilities kind of state of the art, which I think is absolutely necessary. We've proven to ourselves now you can do an awful lot if you can get face-to-face video working. There's some policy issues that we've got mostly working, like things like turning on cameras on government computers, and then dealing with how do you support people who are in a classified workspace where you don't want to do that. You probably have to have some cafes or other things, but we have ways to work through that. A little bit more ground to plow there, but done really well getting the capability online.
All right. And finally, sir, what do you have to say to people who just want things to go back to normal? They want to just come back to the work center like they've always done, and they just want everybody to come back to work.
So I had to tell them the same thing that I have to tell myself when I think that. Because I think that about every day. Every time I think it, I have to tell myself, just stop it, okay? You can't think that way because this is a long issue. We're seeing countries that are opening back up, and areas that open back up see spikes in infections, and then they're having to kind of control that. And I think we'll learn to get better at how we control it, but it's going to be a few years, I think, before we figure out how to deal with this and get back to normal. And I think we do have to get back to normal. And I don't mean this as in get back to the new normal. I want us to be able to go, to a sporting event, sitting like the seats are, shoulder to shoulder right now. I think we've got to get back to that. That's part of our society. But I think it's going to be a little while. You got to be absolutely confident we're going to get through this. But you can't be overly optimistic and drive toward, we'll be there by June 15th. We're not. It's going to take a while.
All right. Sir, thanks very much for sharing your thoughts with us and sitting down today.
Glad I could be with you, dear.